Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of We Are Legion Live. Tonight we have joining us Andrew Gabrial. How's it going, Andrew?
Hey, good evening, man. How are you doing?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. How's the weather down there in Texas now?
Well, after the Texas freeze, anything's good. So,
I hear you.
So when you go from that to right now, I don't know where we had 80s today, something like that. They complain about hot, but I don't think anybody's going to want any kind of cold anytime soon.
I know what you're feeling, man. The same time, we didn't lose power like you guys did, but we were having minus 30-degree wind chills at the same time. You guys were freezing, but you guys didn't have any power. So,
thankful to God, we didn't. My family personally, we only lost power for one day. You know, a lot of people unfortunately lost power for 5, 6, and over a week.
No,
we were really blessed in that department.
Well, I'm glad that you all made it through safe and stuff.
For you as well.
Yeah, and why don't you go ahead and start out by telling everybody a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name is Andrew Gabrial. I'm from McAllen, Texas, which is South Texas, not San Antonio. There's more southern of that. I produce EDM among other genres. I've tried to do every genre I can. But there's still limitations to what you can do. You can't exactly, play every single instrument as you would want to,
Yeah. Some of us can't even play any instruments. So.
Well, I mean, I know I can't play any, but I've still tried. The one that I've really wanted, the one that I really have a passion for is rock, and for rock and roll because I'm not supposed to be able to do that as just one person. You're supposed to have a band, and there's music producers out there that'll say, if you release a rock song and you don't have a band, well, you use samples. No shit, I use samples. What, like, am I supposed to go somewhere and okay, let me go get a snare, every single snare. Let me go. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I understand the authenticity that they want to have, but especially now. If you've noticed the music that's coming around right now, it's very retro, very 80s. And I think what's happening is these record labels, not necessarily that they don't have anything, but they're putting out the best stuff that people that weren't born back then didn't hear.
Exactly.
That's why old people like me, like I'm 33, like it feels like that was a long, long time ago.
Jeez, you're saying you're old, man. Get out of here.
Yeah, and that's why. So it's like when there was a song with I don't remember the exact song, but there's been a few of them, and you hear the song, you're like, hold on, wait, who's singing that right now? Because I heard that 25 years ago, and somebody else was singing it.
Yeah.
And I think that's good. I think that's good, so that way other artists can get a chance to do their thing. But when you also don't, when people don't know where the original comes from, I think there's a problem there.
Yeah. All right. I'm looking you up on Spotify. There's 2 Andrew Gabrial profiles.
There's one.
Are you the AG?
Yeah, I'm the AG one.
Okay.
The other guys, he's a very talented vocalist. I've heard his stuff. Unfortunately, we have the same name. He's a real great artist.
Well, I just wanted to make sure I loaded the right one, so when I played some songs, it was the right person, because that would be embarrassing.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, hey, I can't sing. I'll tell you straight up, I can't sing. So when I found out there was another guy with my name and he could sing, I was like, hey, well, why don't me and him team up, and it'll be like AG and AG,
Yeah. Why not? I mean, that's the best of both worlds,
And he's from the other side of the world, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's from Europe.
I think he's actually from England, because I have him on my Instagram, I've actually talked to him a couple times.
They're a duo called Awaken the Elements from Europe, from the UK. They're a really great duo out of the UK, and the UK has some serious talent going on.
I got a lot of
indie talent.
Oh yeah,
indie talent,
and in all genres too. I got a lot of people that follow me, and I follow them on Twitter and Instagram and stuff from England and over there, and there's just a ton of talent. That's
so much
coming up and coming in there.
So much.
it's almost like we're getting ready for a second British invasion, you know, like they had in the '60s with the Beatles and the rock and stuff.
Well, I think when it comes, especially to EDM, you know, to EDM, it's the blanket. So everything under it, as long as if they're bringing it, we're bringing it in the States. You know, I know that and especially in other countries as well. If everybody can bring it, all I want to do is get back to festivals. That's all I want. You know.
Amen to that, bro. Amen to that. Festival again. Yeah, I'm down for that. I haven't got to see any live music in well over a year now, and I kind of lay down at night and I have.
Do you think that we'll ever have another EDC, another UMF? Do you think?
I think we will.
You think we will?
It may not. It's probably not going to be like this year.
I mean, because if you go back and watch those YouTube videos, you watch those YouTube after party videos, and I mean, I'm not like saying, oh, like there's so many people, but if you see everybody's in there, they're all crammed together, and they wouldn't allow that today, and then
no,
you know, I think that could possibly be where we are.
There will be the festivals. They may not be exactly like they were before.
Yeah.
Where because here in Kansas City, we used to have a 1-day rock festival that would go from 9 o'clock in the morning till midnight, and we'd have 150, 200,000 people there, and we were all crammed in there, and it was called Rock Fest, and they'd have two separate stages where they'd have the up and comers on one, and then they'd have the main stage, and it was just a blast.
And how many people would that pick up? Like thousands and thousands and thousands?
150 to 200,000.
Oh, wow. Okay,
for that single day.
About. Now that's a festival.
And I mean, this is a diehard festival. I mean, you'd have major indie bands playing the second stage, and then you'd have like Godsmack and them playing the main stage. And,
oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was a festival.
Yeah, that's something.
But it's for the last 2 years it's been canceled, and
I think that's something that nobody's talking about. To be honest with you, nobody's talking about the possibility that we might not be able to go back to live music. I mean, clubs, bars, okay, fine. You know, that's going to come back. That's already back. People are already at the bars. People are already at the clubs. But when it comes to what made Avicii, when it comes to what made Tiesto, do you personally think that I mean, you've heard about the underground raves in London, in the UK. They've had them, they busted them, they had to take them down. Do you think that's? Do you think it's going back underground? I think it could be.
It could be. I don't want to go there right now because I don't think so. I don't want to think about something that horrible again. I'm hoping that with the vaccines and stuff that we can get to a point where we can go back to
or normality. Yeah,
some sort of normality with festivals and things like that, because it would just be a devastating blow to billions of people if we couldn't have music festivals like that again. And it's not just the younger party type crowd. This is what I'm talking about, everybody and all different, because music is what brings people together, you know, and and if you lose that live experience like those festivals and things, I mean, look at some of the stuff like when they do the bike rallies like Sturgis and stuff, where they're performing concerts out there and there's like 800,000 some people out there partying and drinking because there's speakers all up and down the street and everything like that. People just don't want to think about losing things like that. And that would just be. This is bad enough. I don't want to go to that level right now.
What has to happen is this. What has to happen? You have to think about it in order to get past it, because what's gonna happen in a year, right? We're still gonna be a year in. We're gonna be 2 years in. Excuse me. And I've been wanting to go back to a festival for I can't even explain how long. You know, and when you think about actually going back to a festival, it's not just about the music. It's not just about about going to see your favorite artist. It's about going with the people that you love. You know, you take your
Yeah.
best friends. You know, you get 7 people to pay $300 each or however many each, and we get it all going. And this whole thing, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to diss the virtual festival thing. It's a great thing. I love it. You know, I mean, I myself, like, I mean, you know, I love hitting my mixes every single weekend when I'm drinking, having a good time. But a virtual festival, can you even have a fractional comparison to a real one?
It's not. I mean, it's pretty much like being weaned off of a drug. you get a little you're getting a little taste of it, but you're not getting the full effect, you know, and because you don't get to feel the energy from whoever's playing, whether it be the DJ or the performer or whatnot, and they don't get to feel the energy back from the crowd, and it's as much as I have enjoyed watching the virtual festivals and things like that on here, it just really isn't the same because there's not that interaction. I mean, I'm not sitting around with all my buddies slamming back some beers, just enjoying the show, you know, and
or meeting random people,
or just meeting new people,
having a connection with them, with people that you don't even have never met, and you probably would never meet if it wasn't for the festival.
I mean, I can't tell you how many people I've met at the mosh pit or just on the dance floor or wherever, just chilling, really great people that I'm friends with these days.
I think what's happened here, though, is that it's been taken aside. And let me ask you this: do you think that music in general, or still EDM, is still related to drugs? Because as you've seen, I mean, these people aren't ready to legalize marijuana. They're still coming up with excuses every single damn time. So do you think that live performances like festivals are going to be thrown to the side because they're related to things like drugs?
You know, well, I've been to a ton of festivals and raves and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And yes, there are some elements of drug use at those, but there's also people there who are
that doesn't mean they can just take it away for that reason.
Yeah, I know, I understand,
and they'll always do that. They always try to take it away for one reason only.
And my point I'm getting at is, no matter what you do, you're always going to have some element that's going to be doing something that's less than savory. We'll use that word there. And you're right. You can't just. You can't punish the whole group because of a certain percentage of which, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I've never partaked in any types of those activities.
Well, that's private. Hey, that's private. That's this is YouTube, you know.
But
we don't want to get over there.
So I'm not going to condemn people
absolutely not.
for partaking or not partaking. That is up to the individual, and but I don't believe that should be used as a reason to.
But that doesn't mean that it won't be. Is my point? Is because you have to understand. Some of my best friends in my entire life that I've ever met were at festivals. Okay, when Tiesto came to South Padre Island, I met one of my best friends in the world, Ed. I mean, he doesn't live here in Texas anymore. He's not from here, so you know, me and him don't talk too much. But he's still my best friend. If I saw him again today, you know. And I think that this whole thing about staying in your house and this whole thing about being forced to take the music, and that's not how the music is meant to be taken. You know, like, do you think that there's a possibility, as small as it may be, that we get festivals that way again? And I'll just end it on that question so we can move on to something else.
There is a possibility.
Yeah.
I will say that. I would hope that we wouldn't take it to that extreme to where that wouldn't be possible again. I don't want it to go that way. I mean, there is a remote possibility that yes, that we would be doing that. But
and how are the festivals in your area? The rock shows. Are there any rock shows in your area?
Oh man, we're here in Kansas City. We're a hub for pretty much all types of music. We get country music, we get rock. I mean, because we're right in the center of the country, so
Yeah.
we kind of get a good mix of everything. So yeah, and we get some. We don't get like Tiesto or anything, but we get some
No,
bigger
yeah.
bigger
What I
DJs and
mean by
stuff to come in.
what I mean by that is like a festival. Of course, it doesn't just mean EDM, but I also mean a rock festival or
Oh yeah,
hip-hop,
I mean like
how's live music where you're at?
oh, we got tons of live venues. I mean,
That's great.
we've lost a few during the pandemic because of just that's all they do was live shows and stuff, and there was just no money during the pandemic. So, but we got a great live music scene here in Kansas City, and I mean we got a NASCAR track where we hold the festival at. We have an arena downtown. We actually have 2 or 3 places downtown that hold the concerts and stuff. And then of course we have some bars, and we have a Power and Light District, which is bars, and they have a live concert stage there that they do stuff at. And so the music scene is.
And did it ever go away? Did it ever shut down? Or
yes, they completely shut it down for a while. And the ones that were still open, you could only get 10% capacity in there.
Oh wow!
And
that's
so
nothing.
And so getting tickets to something like that were outrageous. I mean, they were charging quadruple what they normally were just to get tickets.
Yeah,
and
also they were price gouging too.
Well, they had to just to kind of stay in business. Yeah, because you're losing. You only get to have 10% of your capacity in there when normally they'd be packed, standing room only, and now you get 10%. So now they got to jack up prices just to pay the people to come to play.
Absolutely,
and
just to pay that, just to pay the
yeah, and just to keep the power on in the building, you know. So. I mean, to an extent, it might have been a little bit of price gouging, but it was a necessary evil to make sure that they could continue on. And I'm just over it. I'm kind of waiting to see how some of these states do that have opened back up. I've seen Texas is fully opening back up now. Florida's opened up.
But I got to tell you, I think it's changed people. Because you go out there and this is the way I believe, you know. I mean, we live in this country, and the businesses themselves, they haven't let it go, you know. So if you go to a business here, you go to Walmart, you go to HEB, you still have to wear your mask. And I mean, I think that's fine. Hey, that's their business. So it's whatever. But as far as like outside, of course, you know, no, you don't have to do anything. The whole thing about I forgot where I saw it, but someone got arrested for not wearing a mask, and they were walking the dog. I was like, all right, that's enough internet for today. I'm done. I don't need to see that.
That's a bit extreme.
Exactly.
And now that we're over a year into this, I mean, some people are just kind of been conditioned to this is what we're going to be doing now
for the rest of our lives.
And businesses are so afraid to completely lift the mask mandate because they don't want to be sued because someone's like, oh yeah, I went to Walmart and I got COVID in it.
You have to remember it's barely opening. So we can't be upset that there's people out there that want to take precautions because they want to take precautions, and that's the right. But I think in a year from now, there's going to be companies, there's going to be businesses, and they're going to be like, all right, that's enough. We're done with that. And then people are going to come in and complain, and the business is going to tell them, "Hey, you know what? Get out."
Okay. So, well, I'm going to say this: in a year from now, if I still have to wear a mask because I've already been vaccinated,
absolutely no, you should not have to. Absolutely.
If I'm still wearing a mask a year from now, I'm going to be very upset.
You had the second one, so that's
I've had the full dose, and so. I did it just so I could get my part going to where we could be getting back out there and getting back to some semblance of normal. And
have they asked you for your card yet? For a card that says you're vaccinated?
I do have a card that says I'm vaccinated.
Oh boy!
And
you know the conspiracy theories about that one.
Well, I will tell. I will. I'm gonna tell you this. Not only do they give you the card, but they give you a piece of paper. They want you to go register online that you've had your shots.
Oh, so have you done? Did you do that?
I will not do that.
Oh, okay, that's a good one.
I have the card, but I will not go register online.
That's a little bit too far. That's a little
bit. No. That's a bit too much.
I mean, see, the thing is where, and this is another thing for me. Like, we can switch to we can pivot real quick back to music. Do you think that this lockdown has helped artists with their creativity?
I think it's kind of forced artists to spend more time in the creative process. And I know for indie music, it was kind of a blessing in disguise because it forced everybody to compete on the same level. And so everything's virtual now. So as you're flipping through YouTube or something, you're catching more and more indie artists that they probably would have never listened to before because everything is now coming through on the computer. But yeah, I do believe it's enhanced creativity, and it's caused artists to come up with other ways to enhance that creativity, whether they're now doing live streams or doing little TikTok videos and things like that, just to keep their name out there for people. Yeah, so it's kind of forced a reevaluation on how artists are doing things, and some of it's good, some of it's bad. But like I said, this is the perfect time to be doing it because you have the people that are going to be watching are already your fans, so you have a built-in test market already.
Yeah.
Right there. If you do something with a show where you got 30 people on a Zoom show and it bombs there, you're not going to take it to your main show when you get back on stage.
Yeah, absolutely not.
But if it's a hit with your fans on that, then you can incorporate it into your show later on. So you might as well test out a few new things and see what works, what doesn't work. Take advantage of the limited opportunities that we have right now.
Yeah. I think that's one that's really difficult because when you sit inside all day, you know, it's the only thing you can do. It's the only thing. I mean, me personally, that's the only thing I wanted to do the whole shit year. Like, I mean, that we've been doing this. I've tried to put out as much music as I can, and tried to work on as much as I can. And the thing that I like is that when it comes to being an artist, like you just can't stop. You know, because if you stop, once you stop, like it's like, okay, fuck, I'm blocked.
Yeah.
So I think that with this lockdown, there's going to be so much music that comes out. There's going to be so many artists that come up, and I really can't wait. I can't wait to see especially the indie talent, because the part that I don't like is there's so much damn indie talent out there. You know, there's so much indie talent out there, and this whole promo industry, fake promo stream industry. I mean, I don't even check my SoundCloud inbox anymore because I know if I get an email notification and it's from SoundCloud inbox, it's just someone saying, "Hey, I can give you #1 on spinning sessions free for $5," and I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And then, or I can give you premium. Send it to my email. Like, it's always the same thing. It's always the same thing. So
I tell everybody, I was like, don't ever pay for promo.
Ever.
There is so many people out there like myself that will promote your stuff for free. And I got people that do playlists and stuff like that.
You know, I gotta say, your Twitter account, I will tell you straight up, that's been the biggest, I guess you could say, part of streaming for me. Like, because whenever I put out a new song on SoundCloud or a new song comes out on Spotify for me, that's when I'll go drop it, because I know you have it every single morning, and there's hundreds of people that go into that. Hundreds of people. And there's so many talented artists. You go down that entire Twitter thread. And it's insane how many talented artists there are on there.
And thousands of people see that every day.
Every day.
Every single day, thousands of people.
And it's the best. It really is.
Yeah, and that thing is just grown monstrous beyond my dreams for the just a little over a year plus that we've been doing it. But it's so successful, and everybody loves it so much that I wouldn't even think about changing it or stopping it now because everybody does love it so much.
Yeah.
Why don't we take a little bit of...
That's a good thing to start right there. I mean, because bringing so many artists together, being able to... Because you know what's also good about it is you're okay with the drop and take off. You know, you're cool with that. You will retweet and like. You do go through your entire list. I've seen it. I go through I go through the thread, and you're down for that. You're really putting in the work there. And when it comes down to it, there's some people, like for me, it's like I have to go in, put the link, and take off because I'm doing so much stuff. If I'm not at work, if I'm not working out, I just had a newborn. I have my wife and everything. Like it's like there's not time to just like sit down. Oh, check out this new song. Like check out my brand new track. Da, da, da. Like and you know what? To be honest with you, I don't think people want to hear that anymore. I think that we're in a new day and age, especially with TikTok. We're in a new day and age where people want it short, they want it complete, and they want it very, very compact. And the days of being on your posts, yada 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 yada, link, yada 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 yada, link. Like I think those days are over, because I think you got maybe 7 seconds for someone to check out your post.
Yes.
And by the way, Instagram's never going to change that bullshit of where you can't post a link and someone can click it. Okay, they're never going to change that, and that's horrible. That sucks ass. Twitter, at least you can click on links. So you have people's attention for maybe 7 seconds. You got to get it in there, and you got to get it right. They want to know what the song's called, and they want to know the hashtags. That's it.
Yeah, I kind of got into it with Instagram. They denied me the last time I applied for my check mark. They denied me because I had my Instagram in my bio. You can't have your links to outside services in your bio. And they denied it.
It's just Facebook. That's all it is. It's just Facebook. Instagram is just Facebook. And you want to know something? To be honest, I think that I tried when that whole thing when they were gonna ban TikTok. I remember I was like, oh shit, they're gonna ban TikTok. That means all the people from TikTok are gonna move to Instagram. So I kind of went all in on Instagram. I created a few profiles, and I started spreading out music, so that way when everybody got there, then it would whatever. And that didn't happen. So now Instagram, it's kind of just lame, to be honest.
It is so much harder to share your stuff on Instagram.
For real. It really is.
And it takes so much more effort to get a good following built up.
And don't forget, you got to be fake too. If you're not
believe me, because I don't do fake. I don't do filters. Real. I don't do any of that stuff. All my stuff is straight up real on there, and it's slow.
That's why
going.
I don't have my face in my profile on Instagram. I'm not stupid. And that's the thing about TikTok. TikTok's great. It's taking off. I think that a lot of music producers need to jump on there. They need to start making music videos on there. And it's going to be great. It still is. It already is.
It
is.
And that's another good way to kind of like do a little test market just to see how people are going to react to certain things.
And what's been your personal favorite platform to share on?
Twitter by far, because it's the easiest. It's just the easiest one to share on. I mean, you just drop a link and then everybody retweet. You can't do that on other ones. Even Facebook makes it a little bit harder to reshare stuff like that, and
I think Facebook's over. I think that's done. Like you can't even make a. I mean, you make a page and everything, but you have to I don't know. I don't even want to go.
Man, I've been in a fight with Facebook and Instagram. I posted a video. It was a reface video where the Hawaiian guy who sang "Over the Rainbow" with the ukulele.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's a Samoan. He's a big guy. Well, one of the pictures in the video shows him topless, and of course, and he's got some man boobs going on, and they hit me with a violation for community standards. I was like, "What are you talking about? The guy's Samoan. You guys are racist as fuck."
Discrimination.
I was like, "Come on, man." I was like, he's a Samoan. He's gonna be a big guy.
That's discrimination to fat people.
Yeah, I was like, that sucks. And
somebody get on Twitter and send a mean tweet.
Well, the thing about it is, on Facebook, I could appeal it. I appealed it on Facebook, and they took it away. You can't appeal it on Instagram. There's no place to appeal it. They just said it says you violated community standards, and that's it.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
So.
That's horrible. The
other day.
Do you have an account? Do you think you stay on Instagram, or you're strictly on Twitter?
No, I have Facebook, and I have the Instagram, and of course I have the YouTube channel. But my main one is Twitter because it's the easiest one by far to share other people's music and stuff on. Mm-hmm. And you can tell by looking at my accounts. In my pinned tweet, I have all my accounts listed. You can go through and click on them and see. But I'm over 20K on Twitter. And then my next one's Instagram, where I have like 3,500 now. And then here, and then Facebook. I hardly ever do anything on Facebook other than just repost other people's stuff on there. Mm-hmm. But unless I'm sitting at a laptop or something, I can't repost something that's on post because it comes in on my personal feed.
Yeah.
And I repost it over to my business feed, and you can't do that from the app. You have to do that from the laptop or a computer. And so unless I'm at work or something, I can't do that. And so I kind of let that one fall down to the wayside. So,
well, the one you got works. Hey, the one you got works. I say, keep at that. That's because geez.
Yeah, I mean, that one works. Everybody's happy with that. I'm trying to get, of course, this to be taking off a lot more, and it's grown slowly and steadily. I need to find something just to bring in a few more people to get things going with it, and I think once people start watching the show, then they're gonna really enjoy it, and because they get to see the personal side of all these different artists from different genres and stuff, and kind of put personalities with what they're seeing on Twitter and Instagram and whatnot. So it's kind of cool like that. Why don't we take a minute here and I'll play one of your. You got any particular song that you want to play?
Let's go with all. No, not all night long. It's called Closer Together. Closer Tonight.
Let me see.
Yeah, Closer Tonight.
The ones that are showing up here are Utopia, The Mob.
Oh no! You know what? As a matter of fact, play Utopia because that's with the guys from the UK. That great duo, Awaken the Elements. Play that one.
Okay.
And, they really went off on that one. I was really the collab that we put together was really clean.
So here's Utopia.
Yeah. It's more of like a tech trend.
I can definitely hear the European feel to it.
Yeah. mean, imagine hearing that live instead of just being here in your house. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what I was doing.
Yeah, right? Oh, I'm sorry.
I had the whole club going on.
Oh, yeah. My dog came over here and she heard the music.
Ain't never Moana.
Say hi, Moana. She's like, nah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Nice. Yeah, I can definitely feel the European feel in that.
Oh, yeah.
And, I was actually lucky enough to, right before the pandemic started, I got to spend a month over in Poland, and the city that I was staying in, they had a pretty vibrant music scene, and I got to hear quite a bit of their stuff over there. And I could definitely feel.
Yeah, they went. Yeah, I the collab with them boys in the UK. That's a great duo. I mean, we have like 7 tracks listed for the year. You know, they sent me over some amazing vocals. I mean, these guys are great. This duo out of the UK, top notch. Like, you know, honestly.
Right on. What are some of your plans? Saying they come back and say in July, the 1st of July, and they're saying, all right, we're going to start opening back up. What is it that you want to be doing?
Well, to be honest with you, the first thing I want to be doing, I want to get back in the clubs. I would love to get back in the clubs. You know, the clubs are open right now, but I mean, I just had a newborn, so I don't think I'd even be able to go after that. I mean, I still have some people I'd be able to call and ask and be like, hey, do you have any openings? But I mean, I don't think it's not advantageous for me. It doesn't work for the schedule that I have, you know, because my son was born 2 months ago. And
you really don't even have a schedule. You're
whatsoever. You know, my wife's up at all hours of the night. She's amazing. You know, and he's a piece of work. He loves to eat at all times, just like his dad does. So I think that.
Oh, I know. I got a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old.
I have 2 other her kids, my stepsons. You know, they're my sons too as well. But I have a 9 and a 6-year-old, so we have 3, and they're all boys. So
mine are both boys too. So
So it's a household.
And my 3-year-old, he's something else. He's too much like his dad. I'll tell you that right now. That little boy's got to put me in my grave early.
Yeah, my son owns me. You know, my son owns me. I'll tell you that. That's true. But I think that once he's like, you know, 2 years old, I think it's good. It's a good time to get back out there. But I mean, you never know because let's say one of the songs I put out hits. And then you'd be forced to go on tour, or you have to go DJ places. You know what I mean? If a song hits, There's nothing really you can do, and that's why I like to put out, songs and songs and songs, because you don't know which one's gonna hit. You don't know if maybe a song that you didn't even plan on. Like at first, I mean, years and years back for me, I can remember a song that I had. That was back when I even had a different alias. I can remember a song that I had. I personally didn't even like the song. And it got signed by this other record label, you know. Yeah, and when it did, I was like, really? They like that one out of everything that I've made? All right, fine, whatever. But I think when you're going,
you know, it's always that way too. It's always when you're like, you know, I'm not really even happy with this.
At all.
It's the same way when I was like, when I would do tests and stuff. Whenever I would think I did a crap job, I get the results back and they were like amazing. You're like, what?
Absolutely.
How did that even happen? You know?
Yes.
So I know exactly how you're feeling there. And I was like,
and the thing is, I think what's most important for a lot of people, like when younger producers ask me, like, hey man, how long have you been doing it? I've been like, I've been doing it for 11 years. And, you know, I'm still not doing much. Why? Oh well. So like, what do you think is the biggest thing you'd say for me? And I'm like, dude, just finish tracks, finish them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you think they sound bad. It doesn't matter if you think that they're not good enough for people to hear, because the next one will. The one after that one will. You have to finish tracks and get them under your belt. And like for me, it's whenever I start a different genre, you know, like, because every time that I've tried to do a genre, I'll do the first track. I won't give a shit what it sounds like. I won't give a shit how it is. I just know I need to get through it, put a song like that together, and know that I can make that genre, you know.
And, well, the thing about it is, too, is when you're making it, unless you're just making it strictly for you, then you don't know what everybody else is what's gonna resonate with everybody else. I mean,
well, I mean, as in a way of like sound and construction, because there's you don't put house together the same way you put drum and bass, or the same way, even with rock.
Yeah, I get you. But again, something that when you're putting together, I mean, you go back and listen to it later, you might think that that was a mistake on your part, but that might be the thing that kicks off the song for everybody else, you know. And so you can't be real too critical on yourself. I mean,
well, that's why I like it. But if you don't get past it, see, because a lot of my producer friends, the one thing I tell them, and one thing they tell me is like, dude, I can't like finish this. Like there's things that I don't think is good enough and it's not done yet. Dude, it's done. I heard it. You sent it to me. Like it's finished. Like I heard the other 17 ones that you sent me too. Like, I get
that all the time. People send me stuff to listen to before they release it and stuff, and I'm like, hey man, that's kick ass, man. Right. Drop that, and they're like, oh man, it's not finished yet. I can't do that. I was like, no man, drop it. I'm telling you, drop it.
Yes. Ready, you know, but especially for people that are younger in the game, you know, that they've only been doing it for a year or for 2 years. Yeah. Like I think that the most important thing is to keep going, to not stop. Like I had a conversation with a producer friend of mine, and he's like, I haven't had inspiration all year. I'm like, well, what do you mean all year? He's like, yeah, man, I haven't felt like producing. It hasn't come to me. See, and for me, that's not how it is. Like I'm not putting down his style of producing, but for me, it's like I remember years ago I heard the way Eminem did it, and they said that Eminem, he goes in the studio every single day at 9:00. He leaves at 5, and that's it. And that's when I heard that he did that. I think that was in like 2011 or 12. When I heard that he did that, I was like, oh shit. Well, Eminem does it like that, so I think I'm gonna try and do it like that. So now for me, it's like every day, wake up, work out, make music, and well, now that my son's born, take care of my son, you know. And then when I'm at work, once I finish all my paperwork, make more music, you know, 9 to 5. And then take off the weekends, or you know, make it on your off time and stuff like that. But there's been days where I don't want to do shit. Straight up, I'm not even. There's been days where I don't want to fucking make music. I'll open my laptop and I'll see my reflection in the laptop, and I'm like, I fucking hate you. I can't stand you right now. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And I'll start something, and then once I finish that, I'm like, okay, I kind of like that I started.
Yeah. Oh, well, you just gotta keep pushing forward and stuff like that, because you're not always gonna have the motivation. Sometimes you're gonna have the writer's block or whatever, but you gotta kind of power through those moments. Yes. The most successful people have themselves a pattern that.
And that's why I said, like, when I heard it was Eminem, I was like, all right, that's it. I don't have to hear anything else.
Even like Elon Musk and stuff, he's like, I'm at 4 a.m. at work at 4 a.m. Mark Cuban. He's like, I'm in the office at 4 a.m. I eat breakfast at this time. And they have a pattern on how they do stuff, and they do it every single day. And I mean, you can't argue with multi-millionaires and billionaires.
So I wanted to ask you something, because I've seen this growth that you have. This growth you have with your Twitter. What if you had to tell people with a smaller following on Twitter? If you had to give them some advice, what would you give them for the advice? Because we're talking about, I remember when you're not exactly no fans, because when I came along onto your Twitter page, you know, it was bumping still, but not like it is today.
Yeah. All right. Well, I started out just like everybody else. I mean, I started out and I got up to 2,500, and then someone report in September of 19 is when I started. And then at the end of October in 2019, someone reported me to Twitter as a bot.
Oh, really?
And they just dropped my Twitter account. No questions asked. Ended it. So I lost 2,500 people. Boom. So at the beginning of November of 2019, I had to start all the way back over from zero.
Oh, wow.
And then I kind of was going back through and finding some of the people that were following before, but I was only up to a couple hundred that I could remember. And I'd say probably a week or two after I opened up that new one, I started doing the dailies, where I would say, hey, drop your links here and I'll retweet them. And since I started doing that, just exploded.
So yeah, every single day.
Yeah, you just got to keep going every single day. Make sure you're out there every single day. I mean, I don't do as well as I would like to do sometimes corresponding with people and talking, because I mean it's hard to do when you got that many people. I get several hundred DMs every day, and plus everybody dropping their stuff there, and so I make sure I go through and I retweet and I like everybody's stuff that they drop in there. But yeah, just kind of build your community within that. Use that as something to build community. Make sure you're dropping your links every day. If you're retweeting other people's stuff, eventually they're going to start retweeting your stuff as well, and you're just going to build a following. That was the whole idea, is to bring all these independent artists together, and we would not only bring the artists together as a community, but we would use each other's fan bases to grow everybody else's fan base.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's worked incredible.
See, the reason that I asked that is because the fan base on your page,
Mm-hmm.
the fan base on your threads, that fan base is not follow for follow. That fan base is not, oh, play my song and I'll play your song, you know. And that's one of the things that turned me off about the indie community. There's a certain section of the indie community where it's literally only, oh, you follow me, I'll follow you. But if you're not following me, then I'm not following you. Like, okay, well then get the fuck out of here. Like, yeah. that's not a fan of your music. That's not someone that wants to be in the community. That's just transactional. That's just mm-hmm. I might as well be an ATM for your follower count.
Yeah,
you know
and there are people that want to do that, and
the reason on your page, not on your threads, I really don't see that.
There are some, and then there's also some that will say, oh yeah, we'll follow you, and then they'll follow you, and as soon as you follow them back, then you'll unfollow. If I find people doing that, I drop them too. I'm
Absolutely.
like, man, don't do that. If you're gonna follow somebody, follow somebody.
Yeah.
And
you gotta follow them because you like their music. Is what I'm saying. It's like you gotta follow them to be a part of the community.
And I mean, you support the ones you want to support, and do it consistently. That's what I mean. If you're consistent with the support of the people that you support, then eventually that's going to grow your base like that. I mean, I got some people that just want to specifically stick within their genre of music, and and that's okay. If you want to do that, then that's fine. I mean, I don't limit what genres can drop on there or whatnot, but there's other people that are just fans of music, and they'll listen to any type of music. And
yes, those are my favorite type like that.
And they support that way, and I mean, it just brings the different personalities together, and I mean, no matter where you go, you're going to get people that do stuff differently than one. Not everybody's going to be doing it the same. I just wanted to bring.
Not everybody's going to be dropping in your DMs. Hey, check out my fire track.
Yeah, and I was like, here's the community. I mean,
oh yeah.
You come in, you start listening to other people's music. If you vibe on it, then you follow them and you share. And I've built some very strong relationships with artists and producers and things like that, and the number of people that have come together from different parts of the country and from different places of the world that have come together to collab that they've met through that stream is phenomenal. And I love hearing those types of stories where they're like, man, I've met people that I never would have even dreamed I would be able to meet, and I was like, well, that was the whole idea is, and if no matter where you are in your musical journey, there's someone else out there that has been there longer, and you can get advice from them and kind of pick each other up and back each other up. And that's what I wanted to do. And for the new people, they're like, man, I just can't get anybody to listen or nothing like that. And I was like, there's a guy who was on Twitter for a year and a half who had 62 followers when he started following me. In 6 months after he started following me, he was up to 4,500 followers.
Oh, wow. That's
so in 6 months, we just blew his followers out of the water compared to what he had done in the previous 18 months by himself. And he DM'd me one day and he said, bro, man, I can't. And all he was doing was dropping his links every day.
Did he have good music?
Yeah, he has good music, and
let me ask you this.
he just couldn't.
How many people on your thread? How many people on your thread do you think complain about things like that? You know, I mean, of course, nobody's going to name names, but how many, like, at a percentage, do you think that? Or okay, that's not something, because we don't want to call them out. Let's change the question. Do you think the quality of music that people put out will change, like things like that, like a follower count? Will change like an engagement? Because I mean, we're not going to sit here and pretend like everybody that drops a link, even me, I know that there's some songs that I put out before that are friggin' shit. You know, they sound horrible, they're too loud, whatever. But do you think that something like that can be gauged on quality of the actual music itself?
I will say this, that the ones that I've noticed that have been following for a long time, since they've been dropping their links in there, the quality has, for the most part, gotten better.
Exactly. Yes.
I'm not saying that they had bad stuff before, but they noticed that it
had to get better.
They've learned lessons from other people and stuff like that, and they've incorporated that into their music, and you can hear the quality.
Have you ever heard of Spinning Sessions? I mean, Spinning Records. Yeah, of course, Spinning Records, but the talent pool. The Spinning Records talent pool. Okay, there's this thing called the Spinning Records talent pool, and I mean, Spinning Records is the greatest. You know, it's at the top of the EDM spectrum. But what they do there is, this is the reason I ask you this, is I think you could do this, and the reason, like, I see your threads and all that kind of stuff. You could even move that into an entire website or an entire portal for all these artists. And what they do in the talent pool is all the indie artists that make EDM and that they think that they're good enough in order to be signed from Spinning, me included, which I've never been, so I'm whatever. And what happens is everybody brings it, everybody drops it, and then it gets voted up through the actual database itself. There's also another one, I believe, in France, if I'm not mistaken, in France, called Soon Vibes, and that one's also an indie thing where people come in, and I was on that one as well. That one was really good. But the reason I say that is because I think when it goes to the growth that you have, the growth that Twitter thread has, what you could do is something to where all those people come together into the same website. They all drop their music in, and then it gets fluctuated to where the best music comes to the top, the cream of the crop. You know what I'm saying? And it gets featured wherever. And like you said, you have the connections to the record labels, so on and so forth. You're talking about ultimate stuff, and the reason I say that is because it's real. Your thread is real. Like, there's real people. It's not bots. Yeah. It's not, it's not. And that's one of the things that's so turned me off about even wanting to do any kind of social media anymore. I don't even want to interact on social media anymore, because you don't know if the person you're even talking to is a real person.
Yeah.
So I think that it's really good when you have an actual community, because I have other Twitter. I've also seen other parts of Twitter, and you can tell when there's Twitter bots, what they're saying, who's commenting, what they're talking about. You can tell because they say the same crap over and over and over and over and over, right? And then you go to the WeareLegion, and it's a real community. So I think the best part is that you're going to have this, and you're going to have people that would have never been heard, and they deserve to be heard. Everybody that's with quality music deserves to be heard.
That was my whole idea was, because we talked about this earlier. I'm a huge fan of music and all genres. Live music is my favorite. And I was sitting around, and how I got the ideas, I'm sitting there and I'm listening to the radio, and I even have satellite radio, and the radio stations are playing the same damn 10 artists over and over and over and over again. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, there's millions of artists out there that are so great. So great. They're so great, and no one even knows they exist.
Yeah.
Outside their local little area. I was like, let's give them a platform where they could come together and showcase their music. And it's like I said, it's took off beyond my wildest dreams, and I'm so glad that people are embracing the idea and getting in there and showcasing their music. Because like I said, the ones that do it and they interact with other artists and stuff in there, you can definitely see the quality of their music and stuff getting better over time. And there's some very, very talented people in there, and someone's gonna catch.
Someone's gonna hit it, yeah.
Someone's gonna hit.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And then it's just gonna draw more attention to the stream, and where
we can
give more people opportunity.
For that one, watch. Someone's gonna hit, right? How do you feel about this current narrative of all this satanic shit in the music industry? Now, I mean, you're a rock and roll person, correct?
Yeah.
Now, we've all known, Metallica, all those bands, Black Sabbath, the real bands, all those badass bands, but they're not. I mean, I don't know personally. I've never really thought of them as actual satanic bullshit. It's just hardcore rock music.
Yeah,
these people in the music industry now, these people in the music industry today, you can genuinely see because they put it right in front of your fucking face. You can genuinely see how they're satanic, and that's the only reason. It's almost like that's the only reason that they're famous.
And well, I mean, personally, it's not my cup of tea.
Exactly.
But I'm not a critic, so I'm not going to judge people on that. I know what I like, and I'm not going to tell people what to like.
Do you think that artists can rise to prominence without that in this day and age? Because it almost seems like they all are that.
The thing is, when someone rises to prominence and they have a certain niche that they're using, then everybody wants to start trying to copy that. To be thinking that's how I'm gonna make my way. Well, once you get so many people doing it, it's no longer a niche anymore. It's just become its own thing, and then you're just blending back in with one another. The hardest thing is for an artist is you can have the best stuff in the world, but if you don't have that one niche that is going to catch people's attention, then it's pretty much all for naught. I mean, you got to catch people's attention, like we talked earlier, and people's attention spans nowadays are
nanoseconds.
My toddlers, they're pretty much all like my toddlers. So if you don't catch their attention, like boom, then they're gone. They're on to the next thing. So.
Watch. Let me ask you this, because this is something that I've actually been trying to input into my producing. What have you ever seen those movies where? I mean, of course, everybody has those movies where the actual movie is in the middle and they start it there, and then the like 2 or 3 minutes in, then they cut it off and they say, "Oh, 3 weeks earlier."
Yeah.
Those kind of movies. Do you think? Because this is something I was thinking with my own music. Do you think that maybe if you started the track on the drop, like on the sick ass bass line, and then you just had 8 bars or however many, a good ass drop right there for a good 30, 45 seconds, and then you'll take it back to the melody. Do you think that maybe people are conditioned differently now for, like we said, their attention spans? So that way, when the song starts, like as soon as they press play on your track, you're
just diving, running straight head on into the bass line.
That's what I've been thinking, and that's what I've been trying. Like I've been thinking about it because maybe right when they press. I mean, how long? Honestly, let me ask you a question. How long do you think people have when they press play on your track versus when they press next track, or versus when they even close the app? You know, they'll double click on the phone, close the app, and then your music's gone. So you got to get their attention right
you
then.
might have 10 seconds at the most.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, I'm all for that idea. I would like to hear some stuff like that.
I have some stuff out already like that from that, but that's my question. Like, do you think maybe that could be the future? Because I mean,
that could definitely be. I mean, I'm always down for the full frontal assault. Just go up and punch people in the face. It's like, bam, here we go. That's it, you know. And you might be onto something there.
Check this out. Look, play this track of mine. It's brand new. It's called Current.
Current. Let me see.
Yeah,
here.
Current. It's actually one of my attempts at a rock track, and that's what I tried to do. Oh. And it's an instrumental. There's no vocals on it. It's an instrumental.
Okay, let me pull you back up here.
Because I feel like this, man. When somebody presses play on your track, right when the first 4 bars hit, they got to say, "Whoo, gosh, damn, what is that? We need some more of that. I'm going to keep on listening." You know what I mean?
You said Current?
Yeah, Current.
Aha, here it is. All right.
Dude, it's just going already. Like, I know the guitars aren't that great, like the levels, but
yeah, I see what you're saying. You know, and I kind of really like that idea. Or maybe even right before, if you give them a little teaser, like you would normally open a song, but it breaks off real quick and it goes right into the hard stuff.
Watch how fast the drop comes. Yeah, now we drop off right there. And that drops off the whole thing right there. And then you see, and it's almost like the beginning of it is actually the same as what we're hearing. Mm-hmm. You know, the intro was the same.
You know, I really think that you might be onto something. You know, I mean.
Hey, so I had a question. Do you think if I play the air guitar, but since I made the guitar, I can still do that? Is that okay?
Hey, it's your show, man. You knock yourself out.
See, this is the kind of rock I like real hardcore, high level.
Yeah, it kind of has a disturbed feel to it.
Yeah. Like, cause I think all I need to work on is the guitars. I need to make that guitar sound better.
I mean, you're in Texas. It shouldn't be that hard to find a guitarist.
Oh, well, I mean, because I'm not saying that. Like, you know what I would really love to do, actually? I would love to have a band and produce a track. You know, maybe pay them like $500, and then I would start them out the same way I started the track out. And I would tell the drummer, "Hey, drummer, give me this beat, da 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 da, like something, give me a hardcore fucking beat." And then from there go, hey, bass, go with them. And then the other guitar guy or whoever's the singer, you know, like really, really use the people as instruments, you know, but they're people. So
yeah, I mean, you know, what you're talking about is just like having them in, and you're kind of giving them a directed jam session.
yeah,
Really, is
yeah.
pretty much
But
what
it
you're.
ends up being an entire song, like a real
Yeah,
song.
and you know, sometimes the best music comes out of stuff like
Yeah,
that. You know,
freestyles like that.
and yeah, where you got people that are just sitting around, just messing around, and then somebody catches a lick or something, and then the rest of them just go with it, and then you know,
So
you
what do
got.
you think about that stuff about putting the real thick at the beginning? What do you think?
I think you may be onto something there, where you're like I said, you're punching somebody right in the mouth right from the start, and you're definitely going to grab someone's attention real quick,
Yeah.
and they're going to think that, damn, I must have missed something. I must have came in the middle of the song or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what
And
I mean.
yeah,
And
and
like, so then they gotta like it's like holy shit, I came in the middle. Wait, so what's next? And then
yeah,
oh, okay, well wait, what's next? You know what I mean? Because this is how I feel. This is how I feel. I feel like we're done. We're like at the forefront of where music can go. Besides virtual, you know, besides, and I don't mean virtual festivals. I mean like besides like holograms and besides whatever they're gonna put in our heads from Elon Musk, the Neuralink, whatever anything.
yeah,
Besides all that shit, the only thing we can do is come back and remix everything and make everything different than it was, but the same. So that's why when I was like, wait, if these people want to see, because I used to see it on the YouTube videos all the time, right? Oh well, they show the part where the person is saying something real controversial, and then they cut it off, and they're like, oh well, this is what happens, and then they explain the whole thing at the beginning. Okay, well why can't you do that with music?
yeah.
You know, you come in with a thick ass bass line with some EDM or something, some deep house, a thick bass line right away instead of just the normal da tika ta da tika ta da tika ta. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. I mean, I'm feeling it. I mean, uh, I think it was be something definitely to
And you never
explore.
know. Maybe it gives your viewers some ideas too. Maybe that's something that could be
Exactly,
cool.
and I'm always down. I always tell everybody that that watches that if you got any ideas or anything like that, not even just for the show, but for the artist and stuff, you can always DM me, and I can reach out to the artist and whatnot, and we can see what we can make out of it. But I would definitely like to see you do some more of that stuff, and I'll definitely put it out there, and
Oh yeah,
we can see what shakes out with it, you know, and see how people kind of respond to it, you know, and
yeah,
because I mean, I kind of like the idea. I mean, if you're just sitting there and it's all of a sudden it's there, you got silence, and all of a sudden, bam,
yeah.
you get hit with.
Or you have another song, you know, and it's just this one takes it. This
Yeah,
one takes it down right away.
yeah, and you're sitting there, and I mean, I had an ex roommate that was a DJ, and you try to get when you're blending and stuff, you're trying to get the beats per minute pretty much around the same whenever you're switching from.
Yeah,
I don't see anything wrong with if you got something going on, and then all of a sudden that song ends, and then bam, the next one kicks off, and you're in a completely different level. Yeah, you know, and he was never down with that idea because, well, that's basically what he did was he played local bars and stuff. He just mixed music together, blended it together. He really wasn't a DJ where he'd go out and record his own stuff.
Engineer.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and so
Because my thing is this is like that song right there. I know like it didn't sound exactly whatever, but that song right there. My thing is I wanted to be like, boom, right at the start, and then people are hearing it and we're like, wait, where's the rest of it? Where's the part where I'm supposed to hear right now? Like, because it's not supposed to be this way right at the beginning when I'm hearing it. So then they're already hearing that part. And then you take them back, and then you take them back to the melody, back to the vocals, back to everything else. But, you know, of course, that song didn't have vocals. So what's going to happen when people don't have the attention span anymore at all? See?
yeah,
So that's why I was like, hey, maybe try and get in front of it or try and do something. And I think it works for every genre, to be honest. I think it does. I think you bring in the thickest part of the track right at the beginning, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and you really take it from there.
Yeah, I hear you, and I think it's. I actually, if you DM me like tomorrow or something, I got
Yeah.
a couple. I got a couple guys that that you might want to run this idea by, who are kind of producers and stuff as well.
Yeah.
That would probably be able to be more beneficial with on how to go about doing this than I would, other than me being a fan and saying, "Yeah, man, that stuff rocks," you know. And
So are you more of a fan than a producer, or you produce too, right?
no, I really don't. I don't do any producing and stuff right now.
Oh, okay, okay. I
But
thought you did.
no, I don't have any of my own stuff out there. But I, I'm more of a fan and just promoter right now.
Yeah,
I
see,
still,
that's where it works.
I,
That's
I
that's
mean,
perfect.
and I'm still like, I still have a day job. I still got the two young kids, and yeah, I wear
As
lots
a
of
matter of
hats.
fact, you know what's funny is I just saw a TikTok about that, about having a day job. There was this kid trying to get viral on TikTok, right? I'm not going to say his name or anything. I mean, I know his name, but he was this kid. He was like 20 years old, right? He was trying to get viral on TikTok by telling people that his dad wanted him to start making $1,000 a week from his music. Now, now, as indie artists, they know how much money that actually is to be friggin' making from your own music. Okay, so I don't know. Like, do you think that maybe I
I
don't
don't
know
know an indie artist out there who wouldn't kill to be making
exactly
$52,000 a year off their music. You know,
like
so
that's so
uh,
much money to be trying to make at that especially if someone's telling you to make or it's, oh well either you start making $1,000 with your music or get the hell out of my house. Come on,
I mean, are we talking gross or are we talking net?
I think so. I mean,
Because
I think he was saying $1,000
if he's thinking if he wants him to bring home $1,000,
yeah,
that's a completely different ball game. Because
no,
as an
you're not
indie
going to get that
artist,
music.
you're putting a lot of your own money back into your stuff, so your net is not anywhere close to what your gross is.
Wouldn't
And
that be coming from live shows? Wouldn't some? I mean, doesn't
well,
a high amount of income come from live shows?
well, it used to, but
Well, of
now
course. I mean, not free promo.
now you can get them from sponsorships and advertising and stuff like that through your
Oh,
channels and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I got a friend over here. She's an actress, and she's like, yeah, that's unreasonable unless you're getting backing from some major player,
completely
you know.
unreasonable. It
Yeah,
really is. It's completely unreasonable. Well,
and
the thing is, like, do you think that we're going to be able to go back and we're going to pivot all the way back around? Do you think that maybe can we leave it there then? I guess live shows just not as live as they used to be. Maybe I guess is that the way you want to say it?
I mean, I,
Because
s- I don't think they're ever going to be.
as live, like as lit.
I won't say that because they can't. There's going to become a point in time where people are going to have enough, and then they're going to start going back underground. And I
That's
mean, you're not going to get the big.
you didn't want to admit that earlier. You didn't want
Yeah,
to admit that they
and
were going to go back underground.
well, I don't want to see them do that because
But what if it's the best for the music? What if it's the
it.
best?
Well, I mean, I understand that. It's not that I don't want to see it, but what I don't want is if it's going back underground, that means it's not completely legal, and then you got to worry about the cops
Oh
coming in
yeah,
and busting up right in the
of
middle of the
course,
damn
of course.
show and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's not really the best for the music to force it to do that because I've been there and been at some underground shows and stuff like that and raves and with the police showing up and you got to bust up right in the middle of it and everybody take off running. It's not safe for people for one because
No,
everybody's running
not at
and
all.
pushing and kicking and screaming and yeah, it's just not right. But there's going to be a point in time where people are going to say enough's enough.
Yeah.
We need to get out. We need to go back, and I want to be back just like I was before, or as close as I possibly can to what I was before. Yeah. I want to go out. I want to go listen to some music. I want to throw back some beers with my buddies, and I just want to fucking forget about my problems for a while and just listen to the damn music.
That's all I want to do is
just let me go out there, smoke a joint, drink some beers, listen to some music, and forget about this other crap that's going on in the world. You know, give me those couple of hours, man. Just give them to me.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so I think people need that, and there's only going to be so much. Well, you're starting to see it now where people are they're busting up large gatherings and stuff like that because people are just we don't care anymore. We're just going to go. We're going to gather. I mean, all right, screw it. If we go to jail, we get fined, whatever. We're gathering, and we'll see. I mean, we got spring break and stuff coming up here. Florida's opened up. Texas is now open back up, so Padre's going to be off the hook again. So
finally, Abbott did something right in our state. Finally, he did.
And so I'm hoping that we can make it through spring break. The interesting thing in Florida is they got Daytona Bike Week down there this week, and that comes right before spring break. So there's like 800,000 bikers down there.
Oh wow!
And
then they don't wear masks.
And Daytona they go right from Bike Week. They got like a week in between Bike Week. They clean up, get ready for spring break, and then boom, they got people. And so hopefully we'll make it through spring break and without a huge spike in COVID cases. And if we can do that, then I think you're going to see a lot more relaxing of restrictions and stuff like that until there is a major event that they call a super spreader event. But Florida already had the Super Bowl with no huge spikes after that.
No huge spikes according to the news.
Well,
sorry.
Well,
we don't want to go there.
Well, even the news had to admit that there wasn't any huge spikes.
We don't want to start talking about the news. We don't want
but yeah, so the more that we see stuff open up.
No, let me tell you honestly, bro. Honestly, I told myself before we started that I would try as hard as I can not to talk politics. So that's why I'm like trying to keep. The only thing I did was coronavirus, and that was it. I was like in my head, I was like, don't go anymore. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of talking. I talk politics every single day. I am so tired of talking politics. I swear to God.
My day job, I work for the government, so I get my fair share of politics, whether I want to or not.
Exactly.
And politics is one of those things that, I like to keep that pretty close to the vest because, especially in this day and age, people get so upset when you're not
very heated.
When you're not expressing their opinion out of your mouth, they get a little upset. So I try to keep.
That's pushing it. That's pushing it right there. See, we could go right there. See, but that's the thing is that let me ask you this: the exact same way that EDM has entrenched normal mainstream culture, right? Do you think that maybe politics has now entrenched normal mainstream culture?
I really hope not, because politics is
so toxic.
It is. It's
so toxic.
So toxic. And if you really sit back and you take a look at the politics and the politicians, they're all dirtbags.
Absolutely.
They're only
both sides.
All sides. If they're a politician,
I'm going to take that one back. That's we don't want to get censored.
Yeah, all sides. The only thing politicians care about is how they're going to line their own pocket and how they're going to get reelected. So they'll spend 9 months blowing smoke up your butt to get elected, and then the next 2 to 6 years, however long they're in office, depending on what they are, they do absolutely nothing but line their own pockets until the election cycle comes back up. And then they're right back to blowing smoke up your butt. So
the only thing I can pray is that maybe social media finally, maybe social media finally gets these people to be accountable for what they've done. Like, okay, well, in 2 years, in 2022, when everybody has to vote again, maybe people will pay attention when it happened, but I don't think so.
They won't.
They don't.
These people go back. They stop paying attention until they start showing up on their advertisements again, and whoever's telling them what they want to hear at the time is the one they go out and vote for.
Oh yeah,
and they're all lying to you. I guarantee every one of them's lying to you.
Hey, I wanted to ask you this, because actually I was thinking about this when I was working out, and I was thinking about the topics I wanted to talk about with you. You remember? Well, I mean, of course you do. Rage of the Machine, like their topic of music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's another thing I was thinking about. Besides that thing where I said putting the drop at the beginning, what if we started doing that shit in EDM? Like, what if we started putting political messages against the establishment? Because let's face it, who's listening to EDM? The kids are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's got to be placed, like, you know, and that's why, like I've been thinking about that for a while, because EDM is here. Electro dance music is here. Electronic dance music is not going anywhere. No matter how badly these people want it to, it's not going anywhere. And it's only going to get better. There's only going to be more artists. So really,
I like where you're going with this, but I'm going to. You may not be old enough to quite remember this, and they kind of were trying to do the same thing in the early 80s, and they had all sorts of political, like Congress would have meetings. They were trying to censor music and stuff like that, and
that's the thing. But that's the thing is that watch, check this out. I get what you're saying, because I've said it to myself too. But you have to get big enough in order for them to censor you. So then, by the time you get big enough, your message will already be out there, and then they're going to censor you, and they can't do anything about it because your message is already out there. You see, like that's
they just censored Pepe Le Pew, okay?
Exactly. How many?
And Dr. Seuss.
How many decades old is he? You know how big you got to be in order to be Pepe Le Pew? You got to be huge. This is what I tell, like, younger producers when they ask me, don't worry about your samples. Don't worry about samples being cleared, because your song has to get big enough. Your song has to get big enough where somebody even hears it, and then they'll want to clear the damn sample, and then they'll want to say something. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean by like I feel like EDM needs to take a point. It needs to come into the point where we don't need to be out in this drug-infested bullshit where we're just festivals and we're just people that are hanging out in the desert at Burning Man, and we're just people that are taking ecstasy. It's like, nah, we're here, bro. Like, I'm gonna go run for office using my music, and I'm gonna be putting out political campaigns that are friggin' house music. You know, that's what something I mean. But like, I think that if you're gonna put political messages in music the way imagine if Rage Against the Machine had their music like, I mean, it's still out today, but it's not as popular as it was when it first came out. Like, imagine if they were doing that today on that level, you know, and really speaking truth to power and trying to take down those ivory tower fucks. Excuse me.
Well, what you got to really pay attention to is pay attention to the ones that they're trying to silence.
Exactly, right? Because they're the best ones at it.
Because, well, those are the ones that are giving the message that probably doesn't jive with what they want to accomplish.
Yeah.
So pay attention to what they're trying to silence, who they're trying to silence, and those are probably the ones you should be listening to begin with.
Yeah. See, but the thing is, I think that right now where music is at is exactly. And you want to know what was the? I don't know if you've heard there was a recent stat, and they said that there's how many songs released per day? Over 100,000 songs released on Spotify every single day. Like they said, it's something like that. Now imagine if this is only because nobody's thought about it. That's why I'm talking about it. Like, if you put a true message in your music, what's every artist scared of now? Being canceled. That's what they're scared of now. That nobody wants to do anything. But the thing is if you talk about drugs, you talk about sex, you talk about shaking your fucking ass, I mean, nobody gives a shit. Right?
They do. It just depends on who's the one saying it.
Exactly. Well, I mean, come on, man. I mean, we know what we just recently. What was the song of the year? The song of the year was WAP. Come on,
yeah.
bro. And you want to know what's even funnier?
Hey,
my
I'm not even.
My newborn laughs at WAP when my wife sings it. That's how much of a joke that song is. Okay?
Yeah. We're not even going to go with it to that extent right
exactly.
now. Not publicly.
We can do it next time.
Well, no, we won't do it on the public forum. We can do it on a sidebar.
Censored.
Yeah, well, I'm going to censor that because I feel like we might be on the same wavelength, and I don't believe that it might be the most popular opinions as of right now.
This is why I say that, brother. Check this out. Is that maybe music is ready? Maybe music, especially electronic music, maybe music is ready to move into the section of life where people hear it at all times. People hear it every single day.
Okay. I will say this, that if there's anything that can unite us and save us, it's going to be music.
Yeah.
And...
I'm not talking about campaigns on an EDM song.
I'm talking about... And...
Yeah.
If it's the one thing that can bring people together, it's going to be music. And...
Yeah.
To... let me try to get this thought clarified and out there.
Yeah. No, think about it. Hey, that's cool.
You gotta, as an artist, worrying about being canceled.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, let me ask you,
you can't be worried about that. You gotta put the music out there because you don't know what's going to resonate and what's going to be a unifying factor. I mean, here's back in the day, Two Live Crew. I don't know
of course.
Two Live Crew. All right, they did everything humanly possible to cancel Two Live Crew back in the day. They eventually kind of succeeded where that kind of dropped out of the mainstream and stuff like that. But the more they tried, the more popular they made it for a time being. And I kind of got a chuckle the other day. I was reading a story about Luther Campbell, who's the lead singer for Two Live Crew. You know what he does nowadays? He's a high school football coach.
Hell yeah, that sounds good.
In Florida, he's a high school football coach, and I was like, heck yeah, way to go, Uncle Luther. But yeah, I mean, you gotta take that stuff, and you can't do stuff your way, and you can't let them cancel. Yeah. I don't like the cancel culture, even with stuff that I don't agree with. I don't like canceling. I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
Put it out there. Let people make their own decisions on it.
See, like for you, for instance, right? You got this page, bro, and this page is popping off. Now, the reason I say that is because I've had my own pages. Like, my wife knows I'm a disruptor as hell. When I'm on Facebook, when I'm on social media, I'll talk straight up politics. I'll go hardcore in the paint, go hardcore. But when they ban me, okay, whatever. I lose 2,000 followers on Facebook. That's not a big friggin' 2,000 friends on Facebook. That's not a big friggin' deal. Do you think that maybe that's why I said about the database, maybe making a website for you? You make your own website. You'll be able to pull all these people to you, get your own traffic, and then you ain't got to worry about Twitter taking your shit down.
Well, but you got to worry about search engines now.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing is that's only Google. Bing, everybody knows Bing. Everybody knows DuckDuckGo. But the thing is that as long as this is my thing, bro. Is that check this out? Let me tell you how for me I have I have what I do in my music, and then I have what I do in my politics, and they're both completely different names.
Yeah,
they're both.
I understand what you're saying, and for the most,
I don't want them connected because I don't want people.
I keep my opinions out of them.
Out of my music, yeah.
Even in my streams, I have people who have political messages and things like that they drop in there with their music.
Yeah,
and I do I do them the same as I do everybody else. I retweet, I like their, and move on. I don't put my personal comments in there because that's not the forum for me to do that. I have a private Facebook page that's my personal page where I do a lot more of that and express my opinion. And if people don't like it, they don't have to be on my private Facebook page. They can be on my music page.
Yeah.
And just because my politics do not align with yours does not mean that I will not promote your music and stuff like that. I'm an adult. You can have a different opinion than I, and I can move past it.
We'll see it from this side. Watch. Just because my politics don't align with yours, it doesn't mean that you can't, that you automatically will say, well, I'm not going to listen to his music.
No,
because that's what happens. That's exactly what happens. And I learned that the hard way in 2019.
Unfortunately, you're correct.
Yeah.
Is we can't move past that where you can't have a disagreement with anybody anymore without it completely just being a finite thing.
Like, there's people out there that if they were to find out your views on politics tonight on this conversation, they'll go and they'll unfollow you on Twitter. Like,
exactly.
For what freaking reason?
Exactly.
I do not understand that reason. I don't understand. And you want to know what? That's fine. I used to have a problem with it back in 2019. I got over it. I remember I used to say, no, F that. You know what? I'm gonna speak my opinions. I'm gonna do it. And you know what happened? Straight up, it affected my engagement. It affected my music getting out there, and that's all I did. Now I have literally sections of my life that are committed to politics, that are committed to videos, that are committed to music. Because you want to know something? There's people out there that they're really not even fans, and they'll hear, oh, well, I support X. Oh, well, you support X? Then I don't support you, and I don't think anybody else should support you. What are you talking about? We're not here for that. This isn't the place to do that.
And the sad part about it is nowadays there's just people out there who specifically go out and find and dig up that.
Yes.
Dig up the worst thing they can find about you.
Yes.
And to try and ruin somebody's success because they can't stand that someone else is doing better than they are.
And it'll be another artist.
That's become our society is instead of trying to be the best, we're going to drag the best down to pass them.
Have you ever heard of the crab bucket theory?
The crab bucket theory? I'm not.
There's this theory out there. It's called the crab bucket, and it's something like the way indie artists are put together. It's a bunch of crabs in a bucket, and whenever one of the crabs starts getting outside of the bucket and it starts climbing outside of the bucket, one of the other crabs will pull him back down.
Yeah.
Because the other crabs don't want that crab to get out of the bucket because they're still in the bucket. And
the sad part about it is it's not even just all indie artists that do that. It's established artists that if they see someone outside the bucket, if they see someone trying to climb back out of the bucket, they take the stick and shove them back down in there. So,
hey, can I take a quick restroom break? Just like 2 minutes?
Why don't we go ahead and wrap this up?
Let's wrap it up, and we'll go further next time.
Yeah, because I would love to continue our chat
next time,
later on.
We'll do it in a few weeks. We'll get something going.
Yeah, and because
I'll DM you tomorrow so we can keep a link going.
Yeah, and because we're running over an hour and a half right now, and
all right.
And
I think we did pretty well. I think we did pretty well on topics.
And if we run longer than that, we kind of lose some audience and stuff like that. They won't rewatch the video, but yeah, definitely some conversations that we can continue on at a later date. Yeah. And make sure you DM me again tomorrow, and I'll hook you up with a couple other producers and stuff that you can run your idea by, and see what we can pop off with that. Perfect. But thank you for being on the show. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
And you're welcome back anytime. And
I think we can do something again in like a month. Keep it going. Keep some current topics, because let me tell you something. I think that when it comes to you, man, I got to give you some serious props, because honestly, I've been around this game for a little while, especially on Twitter. And when I started looking at your profile, I was like, you know what? Let me go over there. Let me go check this out. And that was in 2020, end of 2019. So that was back then. And I've seen it grow. So it's kind of just like, hey, you've got it going, make it happen, and keep it happening. That's all that matters. And
we just keep growing, because the bigger my profile grows, the more I can get everybody's music out there, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters to me, is getting everybody's music out there, getting it heard, and that's what we try to do. But again, DM me tomorrow, and we'll continue these conversations, and we'll get something going again in a couple weeks.
We'll show in a few weeks, get something going, maybe 6 weeks or something. Who knows? We'll
give it a little bit of time, and we'll talk on the DMs, and we'll get it taken care of. But is there anything that you would like to say to everybody in the audience before you go?
No, I just want to tell everybody out there. I know there's so many people dealing with this, coronavirus stuff, that they've been in their houses, they've been locked up, they've been locked down, and it's going to pass. We're going to get through this, and we will be. That's why me and him had the conversation about the festivals and everything. We will be back to that. We will have our normal lives again. Don't lose hope. Don't lose that fight that you have inside you. And if you need, and that's what the music is for. That's the point of music, for the escape.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly for that. And again, thank you again for coming out.
Yeah,
and
of course. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for having me on.
Hit me up on the DMs tomorrow, and we'll continue with some conversations. But you have a good night, and we'll talk to you later.
You as well, man. Take it easy.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. And if you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. Also, turn on notifications, because sometimes I don't even know when the show's going to be. We just kind of randomly have them whenever the artists are available. So I do know we have another one coming up Monday night. That'll be at 8:30 Central. And I believe that's the next one scheduled. And then we got a little bit of break, because we got St. Patty's Day coming up next week. And maybe we might try to do an open mic night towards the end of next week or something like that. But as of right now, we got Monday night scheduled, and I'll let you know in advance if we have any more that get scheduled. But thank you again for coming out, and we will talk to you all later.